What's up, dude? Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I don't have really anything to preface this case with other than just letting you guys know that it does include a minor, so if that is triggering to you in any sort of way, I do suggest clicking off of this video. I try to give you guys trigger warnings when kids are involved, when I remember to, but this case does involve a kid, so just saying. On May 20th, 2022, Orono police in Minnesota pulled over Julissa Thaler, 28 years old. The stop was because she was driving her sedan down the street with a bare metal rim without one of its tires and with a shattered rear window. When officers looked in her car, they noticed blood. They searched her trunk, and there they found the body of her 6-year-old son, Eli. She was arrested shortly after and then was initially charged with second-degree murder. However, her charges were upgraded to first degree after she turned down 2 offers from prosecutors to plead guilty. Back in January 2021, a report was filed that Julissa was hospitalized because she was hearing voices telling her to kill herself and having paranoid delusions. Child Protection also was concerned that Eli was being neglected as well. Because of this concern, he was put into foster care for the next year while his mom was working on a case plan to reunify with him. I know that's always their first priority, and like their number one goal is to try to reunify families. So when a kid is put into foster care, they hope that at some point they can be taken out and put back with their parents. In December of 2021, so almost a year after losing Eli, Julissa was allowed to start a trial home visit. But still, social workers were concerned about her behavior, along with how she talked about Tori, who was Eli's dad, with such little worth. Like, she really just degraded him and did not talk about him in any sort of, good, positive way. She accused him of using drugs and that he was abusive, even though there was no evidence to support these claims. She also claimed to have been hospitalized because of him, but when she was asked to provide proof of that, she couldn't show them any sort of records of her being in the hospital. And court records also show that social workers found an earlier police report with Julissa admitting that some of her allegations were not true and likely due to her own mental health diagnosis. Tori had taken many random drug tests and they all came back negative. Social workers working on their case wrote that they had no concerns about his parenting whatsoever. He tried to tell the social workers that he was afraid that Julissa would try to cut him off from his son once he was reunified with her, according to the case files. But they told him to take his worries somewhere else. It wasn't their problem. Mr. Hart has been advised to handle the situation within the family court setting, Eli's social worker wrote in his final report before the judge closed the child protection case. So then, 10 days before the traffic stop, a judge had just closed a child protection case for Eli. However, there were many red flags that were brought up by court workers about Julissa's care that shouldn't have been ignored, such as that the boy's mother, Julissa Thaler, had a history of severe mental illness, yet had stopped seeing her therapist, raising concerns about the boy's own mental health and well-being. She repeatedly had unstable housing, including being forced to move for violating her leases. She failed to complete a parenting education program for missing too many classes. She failed to remain law-abiding, including facing a charge for stealing drugs the year before. She failed to sign releases to allow social workers access to Eli's medical records. Most concerning to the social workers was that Julissa was apparently doing anything she could to sabotage her son's relationship with his father, whom the child's court-appointed guardian said appears to be a stabilizing force in Eli's life. Julissa had made repeated accusations against him, as I had said before, none of which the boy's social workers could verify. The judge had closed the case following the recommendations made by the social workers who brought up all the red flags and wanted the case to go to family court. So I don't know what happened there. Tori Hart, again, Eli's dad, had filed for full custody in March, but the judge in that case made it inactive as long as the child protection case remained active. Under Minnesota law, the only way for a custody case to move ahead is for the protection case to be closed. The Guardian wrote that even though she continues to have ongoing concerns regarding Eli's emotional and mental well-being, this reporter does not currently have any concerns about Eli's physical well-being in either parent's care. They also expressed concern that Julissa was doing everything she could to prohibit contact between Eli and his father, but she also agreed that the case should proceed to family court. So a lot of like missed signals in this case. When the child protection judge closed the case, it gave Tori the chance to once again try to gain full custody of Eli. Unfortunately, though, Eli was left in the sole custody of his mom with no one checking in on his welfare during that time. The criminal complaint says that Julissa bought a shotgun on March 17th, which was less than a week after Tori filed for custody. And days later, after the child protection case was closed and Tori was freed to file for full custody, Julissa was accused of murder. On May 29th, Julissa shot her son 9 times with a shotgun. She was being held on a $2 million bail, and on February 8th, the jury found her guilty of 1 count each of first-degree premeditated murder and second-degree murder after deliberating for only 2 hours, which sounds like a long time, but genuinely it's not. She automatically got a life sentence without parole for the premeditated murder conviction. This is a sad case, not only because it involves a minor, but also because of all the red flags that were brought up, all the things that should have been handled differently, the fact that they should have taken Tori more seriously, they should have, done so many things differently, and it really is just heartbreaking that this is the end of this case now. But with the end of the case comes the end of today's video. I'm very interested to see what you guys think about this. Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments down below, but remember, please be respectful. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to my channel, and I will be back tomorrow with another True Crime Courier case. Stay safe out there. Bye, guys.